Today we'll be working on ROKR Locomotive LK701. H. A lot of those. Wax. Some paper. There's a lot of parts to this one. Need A1, two A2s, A3, and A4. The diagram has this looking like this. We need to take the two A2s. They go into the A1. The piece we just made is going to go here. So the parts on the A2s are going to go into these holes here. This one and this one, and the bottom of the A1 is going to go down into here. And they're not lining up quite right, but that's okay. And then this piece goes into this hole here. It's going to go in there like this. Towards the, nope, it's going to go in there like that. And it's going to push towards this side. Like that. So this is what the finished piece looks like. A5, 4 A6s, A7, A8, A9, and P1. Now, it says that there's arrows on here, the printing on here. That we're going to put off to our left, and we're going to put in the A6s in these holes here. Like, and they'll go, from what I can tell, about halfway through. Actually, it might be easier to put them in the A7 first. So let's put them in the A7. I have the printed side. It's got a little print there. I have that off to the left, and I'm putting these into the print. Now it's off to the right, but I am putting these pieces in from the printed side. I'm going to bring this in because this gets, pushing these in can get hard on my fingers. That's good. I'm going to do the same thing here, get it started, and then come in with and then when we're done, we're going to look and make sure that they're all seated down properly. They seem to be, but still it's not going to hurt. And when you're done, it should look like this. Printed side, and they went in from the printed side. Next, we are going to put this on with the printed side up. So, and the gears should align. You can see I'm putting it on there slowly. We'll wind up going around numerous times here. And that should about do it. Okay. Next, the printed side of the A8 should be up when it goes in, and we're going to put it in there like that. Now, you shouldn't be able to turn it clockwise. It should only turn counterclockwise. You'll see how it'll work because it skips over these, but you can't back it up because of the way these notches are in here. So now, should I have put this? We're going to put this, yep. So we're going to take this back out. I put it in too soon. What we're going to do is put this into the A7 such that the short side goes towards A7. Now it will stick out the back. Then this goes on, and the arrows should go in a counterclockwise direction. You can look at the diagram and see that. So these arrows are going in a counterclockwise direction. Basically, the arrows are in the same direction as the wheel. Next, the A9 needs to go on, and that's going to go on from the top here, like this, and it's going to hold all this together, or keep that gear in there. And there it is. Notice the cogs all line up on the gears. And then if we put this on, we should be able to turn it clockwise. It'll click, but it won't turn counterclockwise. Basically, this comes off. The P2, which is the spring. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the spring on the A4. We're going to hold this the way the diagram says. It's basically like this. And this hook down here is going to slide into this notch. Like, in fact, you can see this little cutout here. That's going to go, allow it to go on further onto that piece of wood. Like that. And that's what it looks like so far. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to turn it like this, and this, the longer part here, here's the shorter part, the longer part is going to go off to the right, and it's going to go through this flat spot in the middle. It's kind of hard to see. So I put my finger under it. There's that, there it is. You can see it there. That flat, that goes into the notch on the P1. And then that whole assembly will slide down into here with this shorter side. Well, let's get that started first. Okay, so for now we're just going to leave it like that. Just sitting above like that for now. And you can see what it looks like. When I turn this, you can see the spring is loading. That's how I know that I've got it in the proper place here, that it's not just spinning in there. Okay. So the side, the shorter side here with the threads on it, that will go in through this hole here, this one here. So we got to get that going in there. So we're going to lean it in an attempt to get it down there, so you can see what I'm doing here. So I pushed it down, and then we'll push it over to center it. Well, I guess that's it. Only the threads go through there. Okay. A10, A11, and A17. So A10 is going to go in here like this. And what we're going to do is we need to get this metal piece into this hole on the A10 first. If we don't do that, apparently it makes it a lot harder. So we'll try to get these down in here before we slide it forward any at all. Or actually, while I'm putting it down into this hole, I'm going to try and get it onto that piece into there. Okay, there, I got it in. Now we can concentrate on these other pieces. So that went. So now this is going to go down on here like that. And the A11 looks like it goes on the bottom down here to hold that in place. That wasn't too bad to put on. Now, the A17 is going to go on the back here, and it's going to go into this hole here and this one here, and it's going to fit down in there, and we're going to put this side in first and then this side. So we're going to get it down through there, so because we need it to slide the way I'm holding it away from me, because what we got to do is this needs to move over to fit into this spot. So what we're going to do is slide it over. It shouldn't be too bad on that slide, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, it's a little harder than I thought. A little bit at a time. Looking at it, I think that's got it, because I think I can see where this edge is up against this piece of wood here, and this edge on this one is up against that, and the piece on top is fairly well aligned. So then that slides into there like that. Now we need A12, A13, 4 A14s, A15, 16, and A18. So it looks like the A12 is going to go on next. This part is going to go towards, I'm going to call the back, and it looks like it goes down into this wide slit there. So we'll go ahead and put that in. Oh yeah, that was very easily put in. The A18 has the same kind of thing, where these go towards the back down into this larger piece here. Okay, and you can see the ROKR, you want that to name out. Okay, next we have the A16, and an A14 goes on top right here. I think I'm going to sand that just a little bit there to make that a little smoother, since it looks like that's going to be rubbing there. I think I'm going to just do it to them all. See, yeah, we're going to do it to them all. Looks like it's basically a door hinge. Or a hinge for whatever that object is. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, so the A16, and one goes on the top, one goes on the bottom, and then these are going to go through this hole and into these areas here and here. So let's see if we can do that. lining it up is probably going to be the most difficult part. Lining it up was no problem, and it just went right on pretty easily. But it does move a little bit. We'll see how that goes in the end. But next we're going to put the A15 with the two A14s. And we're going to do the exact same thing, only to the other side. Oh, that was not lining up very well. There we go. Now it's better. So I'm able to turn this down kind of out of the way to make sure it's on there as far as it'll go. Okay. Next, the A18 goes on. The A18, if this piece is sitting like this, it's basically how the diagram is, it's going to go down into this hole here and this hole here, and then it's all going to slide to the right. So we put it down in there like that, and then it all slides to the right. And that's what that looks like. You can see the doors, or not doors, but whatever they are, they move rather easily. The B1, B2, B3, and B4. Now the B4, or the B3, needs a piece of it waxed. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. And that's this part right here. So I'm going to put some wax there. I'm just going to get some wax in there as best I can, and then we'll flip it over and do the same thing, just trying to get a decent amount of wax in there. Should do it. Now, with this piece aimed like this, we take the B1 and this is going to slide into here like this. Just like that. No, I'm wrong. This piece is what's going to slide into here. This part here. So this is going to go through here like this, and then that will fit in there. We're going to push it forward until it seats, and what it is this cutout, as you can see, goes around this gear. So it fits on there like that. Next, the B2 goes on, and the B2, these two are going to go it looks like here and here. So it'll go in there like that, and then it slides back. that looks like it's about right. But these two pieces mostly line up. They look pretty good. So that's what that piece looks like. And from looking here, it looks like it is slid all the way back properly. Next is the B3, which if we hold this like this, it's going to go on there like this. Notice how this notch goes and which side this is on. So if we hold it like this, it's going to go in this hole here, this one, and this one. And this little part we waxed is going to be towards me. So what we're going to do is get these started in here, there and there. Okay, and yep, they're going down pretty easily. There's that side. There's that side. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is put on the B4. Now the B4 is going to go in there like this, right? It's going to slide down into here, and it looks like it goes into this back one on this side and the back one on this side. So it's going to go on there. In fact, you can see where it says B, and there's a little B here. On this side, there's a little A there, and there's an A over here. So that's how we know we've got it going into the right spot. And that's down all the way. Okay, we're going to make two wheels here, so we got to go through this twice. But we're going to need 2 C1s, 8 C2s, 2 C3s, and 2 C4s. There will be some waxing, but we'll do that when we're done. So we're going to take the C1, and the C2 has a longer side and a shorter side. It looks like the longer side should go into the C1. Now when you put it in, you're going to want to make sure that the slit right there, I don't know if you, in the C2 is, it goes around the circle, it doesn't go across. So you want to make sure that it goes in that way. And the longer side definitely goes through the C1. That one's a little harder to get through. Oh, it's because I put it in wrong. Needed to go in like that. That's why it was harder to get in. So I'd put that one in wrong. They need to be, see how the line in the middle is going? That's how they all need to be. When they're, if you're struggling to put those in, they may be wrong. Because I was struggling on that one, and these are not that hard to put in. So because these pieces are rectangular, and you can see it in the hole that it's rectangular. And if you go try to fit it in the wrong way, it just doesn't work that well. Okay, there's those two. Now, next, the C3. I guess they want the C4 put on first. So the W1, well actually it's a C4, but it has W1 written on it. There's a side with that it's easy to slide out and slide in. There's these little nubs on there that prevent it from sliding through. We need to have this gear on that same side. So what that means is this gear will set up off of the wheel just a little bit. You can see how it's not touching. I can fit this in there. See? And then we're going to do the other one. Yep, this is the side. And the W1 goes out. I'm going to take this one back off. Put that up and have the W1. So I'm putting this up and having the W1 down like that. That's better. Next, we're going to put on the C3. Now, according to this, the hole here needs to match up with this hole here. So it's going to go on there like that. And that will set right up against this other piece. Now, the next thing we got to do is this is going to get waxed. It looks like this surface here, as well as the cogs of the gear, are going to get some wax on them. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're going to do this one. Now, according to the instructions, henceforth, these two pieces will be known as W1. So we're going to be building 3 wheels here, so we need 3 C1s, 12 C2s, 3 C3s, and 3 C5s, and those actually have W2 written on them. So we're going to put the C2s into the C1s, and the longer side is what we're pushing through. There's a shorter and a longer side to that. And remember, these are put in a particular orientation. You want to follow what it says in the manual. There's one. Now, if these go in hard, or if they're hard to push in, take a look at how you're putting it in, because it may not be the right angle or the right orientation. The second one. That one I almost put in wrong. Okay. Next, it says we should put these on next. And based on what it says, since we push these through in this direction, they're going to go on this side. According to the directions, this should go up, and the W2 should be readable from the bottom, like this. Like that. See that little hole here? It's on the opposite side of the W2. This hole is the opposite side of the W2. And you should be able to read the W2 when that hole's at the top. Wrong side. And now we're going to put the backs on, and this hole needs to line up with this one here. So it'll go in there like that. And that one on there fairly easily. That was much easier than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so as of now, we have 2 W1 wheels and 3 W2 wheels. So it looks like we're building another wheel. We need a C1, a C3, and 4 C6s. Now the interesting thing is the C6s have W3 printed on them. So these wheels will be W3. And we're going to come in from the outside like this, or from the right hand side. And then that's basically flush up against there. Same with these do have a particular orientation they go in. If it's hard to push in, adjust it 90 degrees, because these are going in not too bad. Okay, and we're going to get our piece of wood over here, and we're going to put this C3 on here, onto the C1, again matching up these holes. Okay, and there we have W3. We need 4 C7s, 8 C8s, which also have W4 on them. And we need 4 C9s. So it looks like we're going to take 2 C8s, put them together such that this square hole aligns, and then we're going to put a C9 through there, and it looks like this part of the C9 goes towards the axle. Goes like that. This goes on next. And then a C7 goes on last. And we're going to build 4 of these. put the C7 on. And now we have a fair number of wheels. Two C10s, a C11 and a C12. All together, we're going to build a tool with that that's called T1. We need G22, which is also a tool, which is known as T3. And we need 2 P5s and 1 P10. So we have our C12, which this is going to go into like this. And this, the C10s go into the C12. And then the C11 goes on top of those. That was kind of hard to get in there. Okay. Now it says we take this and our one of our P5s is going to sit on top. And then what we're going to do is put this axle down through there. What this is doing is setting the distance from the end of the metal rod to where this sits. The yellow things they are calling shaft sleeves. I'm just going to call them the plastic parts. So this goes, so then we got to get one of the W1s. And this is going to go in on the gear side. That will set flush. And then what we have to do is we have to put this one on here. Like that. And then we're going to use this tool to push it on. And that's how it should set. Now when I turn the wheel, it doesn't seem to be very center, but I guess it won't matter. We'll find out as we go along. It's a little bit better. And that's it. The metal rod should sit flush with the top of that. And it should also be pushed down in between those 4 little posts there. 2 C17s, C18, and 2 C9s. So what we're building is tool number 2. So the C9, C19 goes into C17. Then we put this in the other side, like that. The C18 goes on next, and it will be pushed down until it's flush with the previously installed C17. Next, the C17 goes on top of the C18, and it forms this little block-like thing. Not sure how we'll use that yet, but we will. We're going to need 2 P5s for this part. So now what we're going to do is we're going to install the W1, and according to the directions, it's this hole here, not the back one, but this one. They have this wheel being inserted from the front like this and then like that. So the next thing we have to do is put this down, because we're going to put the wheel on that. Then we're going to get our P5s. We're going to put that on here. And we're going to take our push that on there. We're going to take our T1 and we're going to use that to push down this to the appropriate depth. So what I'm going to do is support this lower part with this tool with my hand, and then I'm going to take that, put that on there like that, and then push it in as best I can, like that. So that's all the further it'll go. That's all the further we want it. Next, we're going to put on the the other W1. The gear goes towards the inside, like that. And here, we're going to put a P1 here as well. Did not have that on there, did I? Push down on that. Okay, now they're both and there we have installed our first set of wheels. Couple of things to check for. Be sure that the metal rod is flush with the top of the orange piece on both sides, like that. Make sure that the internal orange piece, which is right down in there, is flush with the gear. Same on this side. Get a better shot. There we go. You can see the orange piece right down in there a little bit. Okay. And then the other thing to do is make sure that these spin freely. And they do seem to spin freely. The other thing it says, or at least the picture implies, is that it looks like this, it doesn't point it out, but it looks like this part here should be up on both sides. So let's do that. It's easy enough to turn them to make them up on both sides. So if they're need to be different, that can be adjusted later fairly easily. So next we need two P5s and a P10, and we're going to need a W2, and the first P5 is going to go on this on the axle like that. I'm going to put that down in there. This sets the height like that. Then this gets pushed through from the side that's marked W2 like that. And then we're going to take the second P5 and we're going to put that on this side like that. And then we're going to take the T3 and use that to press it flush like that. Now, next, we need two more P5s. These, we're going to hold this like this. This wheel is going to go through from this side, like that. Then we're going to put a P5 on the end as best we can. Then we're going to set this on top of the T2 so that way it doesn't push that through. And we're going to take the T1 and push that down to the appropriate depth. Like that. Then we're going to take another W2 and this goes towards the inside. The part with the W2 on it, that goes to the inside. And then we're going to take the other P5, put that on the outside of the wheel, and press that in. Just like that. And then spin it to make sure it spins freely. And it does seem to spin freely. Now, one thing we didn't do over here was make sure that this points up. This is up on both sides, so we'll make that quick adjustment, and there that is. Eight P5s, two P10s. So let's get these started. On to the next one. Next, we need the W4s, which are these, and the smaller of, there's three pieces of wood we put together there. The smallest diameter one should go towards the outside So it'll go in there like that. And then this goes on here. Do this like that. And then we'll do that again with this one. Okay. So next, we're going to put these two axles through these two front holes, like these two holes here. They're going to come in from this side. And when we press everything together, it has this, where this is up. I don't know how important it is, but we'll go ahead and do that anyway. So what we're supposed to do is put this on here. Then we're supposed to take our T1 to press that one down, but we're going to also put it here on T, I believe it's T2, so we don't press that in through too hard. We'll press this in. And we're going to put this in with the narrower wheel towards the outside. And we're going to put this in. And that spins freely, so we're going to do that again. Put this on, T1, put this on, and we're going to try and make sure that our wheels line up, which I didn't do before. Have that up as best we can. I'll have that one up as well. I'll put that on, and then we're going to push that down. And that one spins freely. Okay. We need C16, 4 P5s, and a P10. When we built these earlier, we had ones that were labeled W2 and W3. So the W2 ones, you could see the W2 on them, and they had this, not gear, but this piece of wood on the inside. The W3 did not have that on the inside. So the first one we're going to work with is the W3. That's the first wheel. But first we need to get the axle set up. So we're going to put this in here. I'm going to push the axle down through. like that. Next, there's two different size wheels there. The smaller of the two should go to the outside. So we have our P10 with a first P5 on it. Then we're going to put the C16 next. Then we're going to put on the W3, and with a smaller wheel to the outside, or to the right in our case here. Then we're going to put another P5 on the outside of that, and then what we're going to do is push that down. Get everything a little bit tighter on there. So now this, we're going to hold it like this, because that's how I'm going to hold it in the same orientation. So this is going to get pushed through this hole here, and it's going to go all the way through the other side. Then we're going to prop that up on our T2, which isn't really tall enough. So I think I might use my hand for that. So we'll put the T2 down there, and I'm holding that with my hand. The next thing we're going to do is put on the P5. Now it says it does not go all the way on. It shows it just being on there a little ways, just a little bit. So we're going to take it and push it down just a tiny bit. And then the next thing it says that goes on is the W2 with this inside, the smallest gear going inside. Now that's got to go underneath there. So that's going to be, so what we'll do is we're going to let the wheel drift down so we can get it through there like that. And then we're going to put the other P5 on the outside here, like that. And that should do it. So it looks like that. That seems a little loose. I'm going to look at the instructions real quick. Yeah, so that looks like how it goes on, like that. At least seems a little loose, but we might be able to tighten it up later if we absolutely need to. But make sure it runs smoothly. Make sure all the wheels still run smoothly. And they seem to. Okay. Now it actually rolls. Two C13s, two C14s, two C15s. So in the first picture, they show that it's upside down, and this hole, let's just do this, the hole should be pointed down. So this last wheel is the one that gets a C13, and you'll see that this has these little slits in it. This side, that's the side that goes in. And use your finger behind it to support it while you're pushing it in. That went in very easily. So this side we're going to put down. And by having it down, that allows us to get our finger in there to support it. And again, the side with the two slits on it goes into the wheel. That was a little tough. Okay, well, let's see how that goes. And then the C15 goes all the way up into the front here. Again, the part with the two slits in it goes into the wheel. Now we're going to flip it over. Do the same thing to this side. Whoop, we can't flip it over. So what we're going to do is we'll just have to hold it. Get our fingers in here as best we can. The C13 goes into the back wheel. I'm using my finger back there to support it as best I can. Okay, next is the C14. That one went in better. And then the C15 goes in the front one. So, can't get that one just a little better. There we go. Now let's do that on this over here as well. Okay, we're just gonna declare that done. Okay. A B5, two B6s, B7, two B8s, 5 B9s, B10, B14. So B5 is going to go through, and we're going to have it such that the wider of the two circles is down. I'm going to come in and go through B6. I'm going to grab B7, which is going to go in there like this, such that this piece, this notch is away from us. And we're going to put on a B8. B8. And it says to make sure these holes match up. These here, that they match up all the way through, and they do in this case, you can see. Even these holes here on the side match up all the way through. Next, we're going to put on the 5 B9s, and they're going to go on there like this. All 5 of them. Next goes on the B10, and that's going to go on like this with, that's going to go on like that, such that these two holes line up with these holes here. Then we're going to put on a B8. And then we're going to put on the B6. And then the B14 goes on here with this part, the circular part, towards the top. I'm going to pull this apart just a tiny bit to get that in there. And squeeze it all back together. Now the other thing it says to do is, I guess we're supposed to take one of the longer rods. So the next thing it looks like it says to do is we're supposed to take one of these longer rods and make sure that it goes all the way through to make sure there's nothing blocking it. And in this case, we look good. It's just making sure that these go all the way through. In fact, we could probably do the same thing. No, they don't go all the way through, but these do. In the end, it'll look like that. Then it goes on, so the train is pointed somewhat at us. It's going to go on here and here. So it'll fit on there like that and like that. We need a B5, 2 B6s, 2 B8s, 5 B9s, B13, B14, and B15. It says we're going to put this together with a larger circle on the bottom, but this hole, this square one, needs to be on the left hand side. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Next goes on the B13, which is going to go on there like that, making sure that's on the left hand side. The 2 dots go on the left hand side. Next is the B8. Again, dots on the left hand side. And you want to notice the holes still, they line up. Next, we're going to put on the 5 B9s. And we want the open part of the B9, or the B9, to go to the left. And of course, the wider part of it goes down. That's all our B9s. Now we're going to put in the B14. like, put this side in first. I put this top side in because it looks like there's an extra slice in there, and that gave me something to push it against, so it went in really easily. Now we're putting in the B15, which is going to go, let's see here, I believe it's going to go like this with the dots on the left. Next is the B8 with the dots on the left, and the B6 with this hole, the larger diameter circle. That square piece needs to go to the left. And what we're looking for is to make sure that these go all the way through without any issue. And that corner is good. That's fine. That's good. Yep, everything seems to be lining up okay. You can see the squares go all the way through. Now, this one is going to go on this other side. And it's going to go on there. It looks like this. Like that. B11, B12, D1, D2, D3, D4, and D5. Be careful with the D3 and or the D4 and the D5. They're kind of very large, thin-ish pieces. So just be kind of careful with those. So we need to take a D2 and the B12. And the D12 goes into the back. This part slides into the B12, the D2. Now, you'll see that I have the print facing out and up. So this goes on this side, and it fits. This part goes here, this goes here, and this goes back here. Now it says the best thing to do is start by putting this back side in first, and it just slid in very easily. And then we want to put in this front side. So the back is in, and now the front is in. So the next thing we're going to do, the other side. So this is going to go in there like that. This is going to go here. This will go here. Just like that. Okay, next is the D3. The D3 looks like it's going to go in there like this. And the print side, there's a little bit of a circle there. That goes out. So the D3 is going to go here, here, and that looks like the two places that hold it in. This just sets up against there. this other one started. And there we go. Again, that was not that difficult to put in. Spin it around and we'll put this side in. Okay. And then this piece with the printing going up, the hole goes towards the front, and that is going to go up here where this goes up through this hole and this part goes through this hole. Let's get one of them started. Let's get the back one started first. Back one is started. And then we're going to push this down. You should be able to see that's flush there, and the same back here. Our D6 is going to go down onto our D9, and based on how it appears, I don't know whether it's important, but the open parts of this looks like it needs to go over towards the D9 side, although it looks like they just kind of move around quite easily, so we'll be able to adjust them later if we need to. Looks like they are going to need to align at some point. So then the next piece that goes on after that is the D8, which goes down here. So far, you're going to want to make sure that it's flush here, which this does seem to be. Okay, so we wax that. Now we take the D11, and it looks like it's kind of facing this way. We're going to take our two D7s, and they're going to go up here. Or let's put the bottom one in first. It's going to go down here in this slot and then in this upper one here. So it's going to go in there like that. And then the other D7 is going to go in above that one. Like that. I forgot where the P7 needs to go up into here as well. I presume till it bottoms out. Then this P7 is going to go down through these holes here, like that. The B12, which goes on this side, is going to go, these need to be lifted up, kind of out of the way. According to that, it looks like it goes above this line here. According to the picture, it looks like it goes way up there like that. And then the D12, if you hold it like this, is going to go on this side. And it's going to go into here, and it's going to slide in and then go backwards. It's going to slide back. So we're going to push it through, and then it gets slid back, which is very easily done. There's no real force required to do that. Next, on this side, we're going to put the D13 in this hole here that's occupied by the D12. And then before we get that in too far, we're going to get these back up here. So we're going to do this. Basically, I guess this holds this gear in. You want to hold it upside down to keep those from falling back on us. So this is not the easiest piece to get in there, but it does go in. And when you're done, it'll look like that. And I believe this is supposed to be up here. Now we need two D14s, a D15, D16, D17, 4 P5s, and a P8. And the P8 is a 50 millimeter rod. Now this looks like we're making another tool. This one is listed as T1-2. So we're going to take D15 and slide these through D15. And then we're going to put this into D16. And I'm going to grab another piece of wood here just to make sure they're seated. Yep, they look like they're good and seated. So now we're going to take one of the P5s, put it into our newly made T1-2, and we're going to put this down in there, and we're going to bottom this out in the T1 tool. So it goes on there about that far. Next, we're going to leave that in there, and we're going to put on the D17, and it looks like we're going to take this and slide it all the way down. Slide it all the way down. Like that. Now, it also says that the D17 needs to be waxed. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Again, it looks like the cogs need to be waxed, and then also the sides of the cogs. So we'll go ahead and do that again. I'll do the other side. And then we're going to put this back in here just to make sure that after all that handling that it's still good and tight. Okay, and everything is where it should be. Seems to be the case. So next, it looks like we are going to let's see what we're going to do. Now, if you look at the instructions, there's a little picture that shows you this sitting in this tool with these two orange pieces in it. There's little sleeves. Now, it's got an arrow with two lines next to it, which points to this one here. And the way it's pointing, that needs to go through this hole here. Like that. Now, apparently, enough of that is supposed to stick through that you can put a P5 on there. Mine does not seem to be doing that. So does that mean that this piece isn't down all the way? Okay, let's see. It did slide a little. Yes, let's see. So it wasn't quite in there right. So now what we're going to do is it says to put a orange piece on here, but it should only go on until the piece of metal sticks out, or doesn't stick out. It's flush with the surface of the orange piece, like that. See how that's flush with the orange piece? And that makes it basically, puts it in line with this gear here. So that way, when that turns, it'll turn. So now, the next thing that has to happen is the train is pointed away from us in the diagram. So also there's an order in which this needs to be done. Our goal is to have this piece here go down into here to here, and this axle is going to go through this hole here. It says that the axle should go through here first. As it turns out, isn't the easiest thing to do. Okay, and then this is going to go down into there. Now, it took some wiggling to do, but it does go down in there, as you can see. And then I need to get this straightened up so it meshes properly, like that. And you can see as I turn that, then it turns. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to put a P5 on the end here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to hold my finger here, try to get that on there. I'm going to grab this piece. I'll just hold my finger on it then. Okay, and then I'm going to come back in from this side and push that back to where it's level. And there we go. And that sits in there quite nicely. And I think these still should be up here. And it's easy enough to move them down if we have to move them down, so that's not too big of a deal. Two D18s, four D19s, four D20s, and a D21. So our D20s are going to go into our D19s like this. Fit that in there, and then this one is going to go in here like this. What we're going to do is take this and use that edge there we go. I just couldn't get enough pressure on it. Half of it looks like that, then we got to press all of that into here. Basically, it looks like we're creating some stairs. So it looks like that. Those are kind of hard to get in. I'll see if I can't show you a little better here. So I'm using this piece to try and press it in there as best I can. And also just try to keep it perpendicular to the, as best you can, to the bottom. And then this is going to go in here. And again, I'm going to use this because it's really hard to get your fingers in there with enough pressure. This tool just makes it a lot easier. Okay. Next, it says that these are going to go, so you can see the two arrows here, and then there's arrows here, and it's going to go in there like this. Just like that. So it creates a couple of stairs. Arrow side. So then the D18s are going to go into this hole and this hole. It's the larger of the two holes, so it's this one, like that. And then this one is going to go into the larger one over here. And in the end, it'll look like that. Got your little stairs here. Design goes up. Okay, this goes on the front of the train. So these two slices here are going to go into here, this spot here, and over here, this one down here, right there. And then it looks like these top ones are going to go behind here, but it doesn't actually go down into anything, it appears. So it says to do the bottom first, and the ladders are going to fit into here, 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 and then right here. But it says to start with getting the bottom set first, because they have that listed as being done first. We will give that a try. So what I'm just trying to do is get this pulled apart a little bit so it'll fit in there, which it has. So now we can push that in all the way, which it seems like it has been, and then we can push these in as far as they'll go, which that all looks good. And it looks like that. Two D22s, D23, D24, D25, D26. So we have our D24, which this long piece is up. So we're going to put a D22 on that. It looks like it's square. Okay, next goes on the D23. The D22 is next. Next is the D25, which goes in here like this. This goes into this hole in the D25. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, and then this part goes down into the D26 like this. that was hard to get in. So this back is just floating for now. I'm sure that will change. So next we need D27, 2 D28s, 2 D29s, and a D30. Note the printed side of the D30. It's likely we'll have that up. So our D27 is going to go like this, with this part down, and the piece we just made is going to go into there, into this hole and this hole. One of the two is slightly larger than the other, so I mean you won't be able to put it in upside down. Another one that's rather hard to get in. Okay, now the D28s appear as if they're going to go in here and here. And then the D29s are actually going to go in. Okay, so the D29s are going to go into these bottom holes down here. When you first put it on, this triangle here is very much in the way, but once they fully seat, it shouldn't be in the way anymore. But they're in the way initially. There, and you can see now they're not in the way. It just barely touches it at all, right down there, and there, just barely. So now this piece appears like it's going to go into this one here, and here are going to go into those two remaining holes. So let's just set it up like this. Now remember, hold your thumbs under these supports here. That way you have something to push against and you're not pushing against this back here, because all there is this little thing here, and that's not very much to support that. So now that that's on, the next piece that needs to go on is this one. And it looks like it's going to go on this and this piece here. And again, I'm going to try and support the bottom as best I can with my finger. And push that one in, and then try to get, now you may need to bend this over a little bit, move it over, because it's not lining up very well for me right now. So I pushed it over a little bit, and then it lined right up. And that's on now. And these keep sliding down, but they really belong up there. We'll fix that as we get there. D31, D32, D33, E1, E2, 2 E3s, E4, E5, E6, 2 E7s, 2 P5s, and a P7. So the first thing it says we should put on is the D31, which is going to go here. And it should go on like this. Okay. Next is the D32, which has this longer piece here and a smaller one here. That looks like it's going to go up and into this part here, right here. And then the lower part is going to fit down here, right here. So let's see if we can't get that in. Let's see here, I can't see that very well. It did fit in down there. And then that's pushed up like that. The next piece that goes on is the E1. That is going to go at these 4 points here, 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 and here. I want to start at the top and then work my way around from there. Okay, that did not go on too bad. It looks like that now. The next piece to go on is the D33. Make sure you have the printed part towards the front, and that's just going to go on this center part here. Again, I'm using the back of my hand in the back to try and support it. All of this as best I can. Okay, that went on. Next is the E2. Now it looks like that is not it might be a square, but it looks to me to be more rectangular-ish. So we're going to try and put it on there. Put it on there one way. If it doesn't go on easily, turn it 90 degrees and see if that helps. So there's all of that. Next, we're going to put on the E6, which is going to go here, right here, like this. think I got it started. I did. It goes on like that. Next goes on the E3s. Which look like they're going to go on here like this. They're going to, so this part of the E3 is going to fit down into here on this side, and then the other one will fit in this side over here. So I think it goes on there like this. This part towards the back of the train. Let me roll it back so it doesn't get out of frame. Like that. This side's going to do the same thing. Let's get this up here though. As we put this together, I don't want that falling down. Okay. Next, we're going to put the E4 down. It goes on, well, it goes on these two pieces right here, this one and this one over here, like this. And then this one needs to be pushed that way. And this one needs to be pushed that way, because next the P or the E5 needs to go down in here like this. Like that. Put the P5 down, and we're going to take the little rod and put it in there such that it's flush. Now, this is going to go through this hole down here, that one there. But we got to put this on with the design out. We'll push it down through that hole. Hopefully it goes all the way through. Like that. This one goes on next with the design out. Then we're going to push the other P5 onto this end of that rod, of that. Like that. And then I'm going to take the bottom of this one and the bottom of this one and just make sure they're like that. Now they do turn, I guess that's okay. And then I'm going to put this back up here again. I probably should just stop fighting that. E8, E9, 2 E10s, 2 E11s, 2 E12s, 2 E13s, an E14, 4 P5s, and a P11, which is 90 millimeters. So it looks like we're making part T13. So that's where we're at with a whole bunch of these tools. Next, the E9 goes on here. like that. Then that goes down. I'm going to try putting this in, see if this works any better. And I think what I'm going to do is grab my piece of wood here, my 2x4, and push these down in here. Okay, I think that's good. Next, we're going to put the one of the P5s on top, and then this gets dropped down through that. Okay. Next, we're going to take the two E11s, and I presume that we need to line up the triangles and the O's so that it goes on there like that, so that way all the gears, the cogs, mesh. And then we're going to take the E12s, and the E12 has the O on it, and that's the part that's going to go into the O part here, because the E13 has the triangle on it. So we'll put that one in, and then we're going to put this E12 in like that. Next is the E13s, which will go triangle. And then this other E13 is going to go in there like this. Like that. Next thing that it goes on is the E14 goes on to here. Doesn't look like it matters how that one goes on. And I'm lining these up as best I can. And that goes on there. This axle is going to go in from the larger gear side. So I have the larger gear on the left in this case, the smaller on the right. And I'm pushing this in from the left. Now this might be kind of hard to push in because the pressure of this in there is what keeps it all together. And it gets pushed on to this point. And then the next thing we put on is another P5. And that's going to get run all the way down to the E14. Like that. Now, the next thing is to make sure that this is right. It should be about 28.5 centimeters on each side. That one's about 29. That one's 28.5 exactly. So we're just going to let it go at that because that's pretty well centered. Now the next thing is this needs to be installed in here. So with the train pointing towards us and to the left, the larger gear goes on this side. That's going to go through here. Actually, let's push this side in first. We're going to put this side in, and then we're going to put it over to here. And it's going to mesh with, it looks like this front gear here, up here. See how it's meshed? Now, we need to take a P5 and we need to put one on each end, get it started. And then I'm going to take a couple of flat surfaces like this and push it until they bottom out. Basically, the top of the axle is going to be at, or the tip of the axle is going to be at the same level as the top of the orange piece. See there and there. And then this lines up pretty well. E8, E9, two E15s, a P5, and a P9, which is 60 millimeters. We're making yet another tool. This one is T1-4. Now it says we take the P9 and the P5 and we put this P9 onto the P5 like that. And then I guess we just set the T1-4 aside along with that axle. E9, two E16s and E17. An E18, two E19s, two E20s, two P5s. So we put together a tool. Known as T1-5. Okay. Now, we take this one that we just made, and we're going to put one of the P5s on here, and we're going to push that in there so that it looks like that. Okay. Next, we take the E17. We're going to put in the E19 like this and like this. Next it goes in the E20s. Go like that. And down like this. Next we have the E18 that needs to go on, and it looks like it's just triangles all the way around, and this has triangles in it, so it looks like it just fit in there anyway, like that. So now the axle we just made is going to go in from the smaller gear. And that's going to go all the way through. Like that. And a P5 will go on here. Like that. Just like that. Now, it says this side should be about 1 centimeter, which is 10 millimeters, and it is right about there. So now, this piece gets installed back here. It's going to go through this hole here, and the larger gear size is going to go through there, the side with the larger gear, like that. So it's going to go in there like that. So this gear, this smaller gear, looks like it's going to go up against the gear with the spring on it. But there's nothing holding it up just yet. I'm sure that will come shortly. But that's how that should look. E21, 2 E22s, 2 E23s, 2 E25s, 2 E26s, which seem to need to be waxed, and a P10. So I think we're going to start off by waxing the E26s. This one. So far I've been waxing all the gears that they claim that need to be waxed. We may need to wax more, we'll find out later. So I may have to come back and wax more, I don't know. Okay. Now we're going to take our E21 and it's going to go in like this. Arrow meets arrow. Because the E21 has arrows on it as well. Sorry, the E22 has arrows on it. So now I'm going to put in the other E22. Next that goes in is the E23. And the other E23. The E25 is going on next. So this looks like it slides down to there. Nope. It slides all the way down to there, and then we put on another E25. It's all the way down to there. Next, an E26 goes on each end. So we'll start with this end first. Well, it looks like here the difficult part's going to be getting all four aligned. Let's do this. Had two of them. Like about three. Oh, I think I got them there. I'm just rocking it back and forth a little bit to try and get it all the way on. It's not quite on yet, but it's getting closer. Okay, and then the other E26 goes on this side. This doesn't line up very well. Oh, there we go. They're kind of rough to get started, but once you get them started, then they just slide into place. And that's what that one seems to look like. Looking at the picture, it's like that. E8, E9, two E24s. These make up another tool called T16. E28, E29, and F1, and two P5s. So we need to put this tool together. And then this goes on the bottom. Okay, that's our T16. Now we're going to take the P10 and we're going to take our P16 and put it on there. And that's going to come up. So it's going to go through this side where the two larger gears are closer together. It's going to come up through the bottom. It's going to go down. And then this, I believe this is going to go all the way down on here till it touches the wood. Like that. Now it says there should be approximately 9 millimeters on each side. Sure enough, there's 9 there. And there's 9 there. There's that. Next, we're going to take the E28 and the F1, and I don't see where there's this particular side to this. So the E28, as we hold it like this, the E28 is going to go here. This large hole here is going to go there. And as it points away, as you know, this way, it goes on there like that, such that this kind of goes up on this side, and on the right side it's much longer. The E29 is going to go over here, and both the E28 and E29 should have the printing towards the outside like that. Now, this gear is going to go in here with the two large gears close together away from us. And that's going to go through this hole and this hole. So we're going to attempt to do that now. There's that one. And now that's through. So now we're going to put this piece in, and it's going to go, just to make this look like the diagram, this is going to go in here like this. Let's see here. So it looks like this here is going to go through this hole here, and these here are going to go in this position and this position. Now it recommends that these front sides go in first. Okay. Okay, there's the front sides in. Now we're going to get this back here in, and what I'm going to do is pull that towards me a little bit while I put that gear up in there. Now so I can see to align it. Okay, that went in. And that is how that should all fit in there. Now when you turn this, the whole thing moves because all the gearing is in there touching now. Two E27s, F2 and F3. Now the F2 needs wax on it. So it looks like the whole thing needs to be waxed, the whole side. So I'm going to wax both sides. Well, it seems to indicate only one side needs to be waxed. I'm just going to put a little bit on both sides. Okay. So now it says that with the train in this orientation, the first parts that go in are the CE27s, and they're going to go here in this notch and this upper notch here. So we're going to put this one in first. Okay, the next one it says that needs to go in is this one, I believe. I think we want to get these two in first. Then the second thing we do is get this put in to, let me back it up a little bit, here, and then over here, right here. So let's go ahead and get that in. That in there. And then that one goes in over there. And then these pieces are going to come up into that first slot. Okay, now we'll get the other side. Like that. And then this piece, oop, that fell out on me. So then this piece goes in like this. It's going to slide through here, and then the hole here is going to go onto this pin right here. So that's going to slide through like this. We'll push that over a little bit, and then this, let me adjust it so you can, I'll lift it up a little bit. So then that will slide and the pin goes on like that. And then this stops it, allows it to run or not run. Because what it does is it kicks this over into the gear like that. So that way it can't move anymore. We will leave ours open for now. So just pull up on that and that opens it back up. Let me show you. See how it's moving into position there? Right there. And then as I come in and lift it up, it moves out, and that way the gears can turn freely. Next we need F4 and F5. So the F4, it goes in the front, or more towards the front, and it's going to go into this hole here, right here, and this one right here. That one. Let's get that one in. And then try to support it as best you can from the bottom. And that one's in. Next, we're going to put in the F5. And it says pay attention to how this one goes in. Goes in the back. And it's going to go on this, on the back here you have these two holes next to each other. It's going to go into the inner hole. That side is in. I'll turn it over a little bit so you can see. You can see it's working its way down. And there it is. And then we need to work this one down a little bit more. And that's all the way in now. F6, F7, F8, F9, F10, two F11s. So the way it's sitting here now, the F6 is going to go on this side. However, the F6 is going to go in there like this, and this needs to go in here. Then this one will go here, that one there, this one here, and this one will go up here. So what we need to do is get this behind this piece. So what we'll do is move this out of the way, and that's what it says to do. Just pull it out a little bit to get this back there. Like that. Now, it's going to kind of be hard to, oh no, that was very easy. These are, well, that first one slid in quite easily. Hopefully the rest of them are that easy. Try and get it lined up, you know, these pieces here. So that one went in nicely. Now this one, that went in nicely. Only the front one was a little difficult. Okay, so now we're going to turn this around. I pulled that out. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we're going to pull this out a little bit, put this in there, like that. And I'm going to start in the back again. That one needs to come up. There's that one. That one is in. That one. That one. Let me get this back one in. I'm going to put my finger there. Try to stabilize a little bit. And that looks like it. Put this back in the same orientation that that's in. So now we have our F8, and the F11s are going to come in from the back of the F8, like this. Yep, now we'll push that down on there. Other F11. Now, the F9 goes on there like this. So F9 should be down in the lower left-hand corner, and this should be flat with the bottom of the piece. That's going to go on there. Push that through. And the F10 goes on next, and it's going to have the same set of rules as putting it on. It's going to be flat with the bottom, like that. And then this goes into these two holes here. So that'll go in there. And it says this needs to go here, right there. And it says to start by putting these these in first. Oop, let's get that on the inside. So you see how I put this on the inside of the thing? Then we're going to get these two started first. Try and get that in there. Give me a little more room over here. And that goes like that. Two F11s, F13, F14, and F15. This is basically the same thing we did on this side, only we're going to be doing it to this side. So that goes like that. These come in from the back. This F11 comes in from the back. Okay. The F13 goes back here. F14 goes up here. And then we're going to spin this around to make this a little easier. Put this in the back again. And then these go down in these holes as best you can do to get them started. They're kind of hard to get started. Okay, and this slides in there. Yep. And that goes on there like that. And now it says that this piece we put on earlier needs to come off. Go off the back side, and then we'll wiggle off the front side here. That's a D4. We'll set that right there. F12, F16, F17, F18, F19, F20, 4 F21s, F22, F23, F24, and H1. Now the H1 is thinner than the rest of them, so just be aware of that. So we're going to take our F22 and we're going to put in our F12 first, and that's going to go in this hole here from this side here as we hold it like this, like that. That's going to go in there. In there all the way. Be careful if you do this, be careful how you press on it. There's not a lot of wood on either side of it. Because that will break easily. Okay, now you'll note that there's letters here. A, B, C, and D. They correspond to letters on these. So we're going to put A where A is. A where A. Next, we're going to do B. Then C. Then D, and I have turned this around compared to what I had it originally. It's just easier for me to push in from this side. Okay, so there's those. Next, we're going to put in the F. Let's put in the F20 first. The F20 is going to go in here. there's an E on the F20 here, and that's going to match up with this E here. So we're going to put that in next, or try to. And make sure you get the holes aligned as closely as you can. It slides in much easier if you do that. There wasn't much effort when it was lined up properly. Now, since I got two of them going, the F21s should go on a bit easier. Yeah, they're going on a bit easier. There's our now you can tell they're in all the way when there's no gaps here on the bottom. See how that is there? There's no gaps there. So that's one way you can know they're in all the way. Now, the F23 is going to go here and up to here. So we're probably going to put the 23, this top part in first, and then we'll slide in this lower part, this over here, like that. Be gentle with it, because with a piece that's that long, that'll be pretty easy to break. So next, this bell goes on here. It's on the back side, and the H1 gets pushed through this hole here and into this hole here, and that holds it on. So let's get that through here first. It's kind of a thin piece, so just take your time with it. And then we're going to push that in from the back. Now, that was not bad at all. So now there's that piece. Next thing we're going to do is, the whole time we've been trying to keep these up, and it's now finally time to have them up there. Now what it says to do is just turn this thing upside down, and they should fall. The first one, and they should fall down to where we want them. So what I'm going to do is push that forward like that to hold them up top. Now we got to get these aligned like that. And so it looks like this piece is going to go in here like this, but it looks like we need to start with the back, because this piece needs to go into this hole down here, and then all of these will go into the top rail here. So let's do that. That's going to go in there. Let me show you what I'm doing rather than blocking it with my hand. So let's do that. It's going to go in there like that, and then you're going to push back and push down at the same time. And now we're at this position here where it's high, and then we're going to just push each of these in. Now they were easy to go in, so now we've got it up top. We're just going to push them in the rest of the way. There's that one. That one. That one's in all the way. And that one does not feel like it's in all the way yet. So we're going to get our finger under there. Okay, nope, that one is in all the way. That one's in all the way. And that one's in all the way. Now, what we're going to do is align these. You have these slits here. We're going to align it, and it's going to go over here. One's going to go here, and the other one's going to go on this side. So what we're probably going to try to do is just one at a time. There's no real good way to show this. Let me try turning it sideways for the second one. So what we're doing is I'm kind of trying to I use my tool just to make it so you can see better. Getting this front one started, and then we're going to go back and get the back one started like that, and then they just push down like that. We'll do that one more time with this one. Front one started, and then do the back one. I found that to be the easiest. You may choose to start the back one. That may be easier. But now we don't have to worry about them falling down anymore. Okay. 2 F25s and 2 F26s. So the F25s are going to go in there such that you got one end that's where the notch is close to the end, the other end where it's not. The one where the notch is close should go towards the back of the train, because they're going to go in these slots here, here, and here. It's going to go in there, there, and there. And then I'm going to put my finger in there and just press it in with the other finger as best I can. Like that. And then we're going to go and do the other side. And again, the same rule. The one that's closer goes towards the back. And these are relatively easy to get in. They weren't too difficult. And then next we have our 2 F26s. These are going to go up here, right in here. Let me do it this way, right there. They're going to slide down over and set down like that. P29, P30, P31, 4 P5s, 2 P6s. They're 15 millimeters. So we need to take one of the P6s and get it started onto the P5 like that. Then the P29 goes in there. Next, the P30, which is going to go through this top hole here, like that. And then another P29 or P5 goes on there. Now, I don't know if that's too loose. let's just push this through there. Not too tight though. There we go. Okay, next it says we need to wax the P31, and I suspect we're gonna need to go all the way around that one. Now it says we don't need to go all the way up, but we're gonna go up to about there. So we're gonna wax this side, this front side, this top, this side, and we're going to wax these corners a little bit. Okay. Next, we have our other P5 that we're going to put the P6 through. Now that one is going to go through this hole like that. This is going to fit in there like that with the writing on this side, and then we're going to put this on this side and tighten that down just a bit. Now I still have some slop in there, so that may need to come out, but in the end it's going to look like that. Next we need F27, F28, and F32. Now the F28 is going to go on this middle wheel. You can see this hole here. That's where it's going to go. Now it shows this being on the top side, towards the top end of its rotation on the top side. So we are going to put this. Actually, I'm going to take those little burrs off first. Hopefully they're just artifacts of the cut and not something that's needed. So this should go in from the top down. Like that. You really can't see it, can you? Like that. And then we're just pushing it down in there. Now it was not hard when it went down in there, so that was quite easy. Now we're going to wax this guy, and it's going to get waxed here, here, and here on these circles. I'm going to wax the back sides as well and the inside of this one. I can't really get to the inside of those, so that's okay. So now this will go on the wheels here like this. It goes on there like that. But it needs to go on this one as well. So we're going to put this one up like that. Then we'll catch around this one. And we're also going to put this other one up so it can catch around that one like that. Next thing we're going to do is take the F32, and that's going to go on here like this. So it's not quite on there yet. Try and be a little careful with it because it and it'll break the wheel easily. So now when they turn, they all turn together. Okay. Now we're going to install this piece. So this part is going to go here. This is going to slide into the top hole here, right here. So what we're going to do is put this in here. Turn it so you can see it. This will go here, and that slides in until you can reach here, and then that's going to go up through there. We're just going to turn it on its side here. Can we move out of the way here? There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. And that goes up in there like that. Okay, so that's getting caught in there. May only be getting caught because it's laying on its side. So we're not going to be too concerned about that right now. So that's how it looks. This goes towards the front of the train, like that. The picture has it has it like that. Okay, F-33, F-34, F-35, F-36, and F-38. And it says the F-35 needs to be waxed, so we're going to do that now. And this needs to be waxed on all four sides. I'm even going to wax the end of it. Okay. F-35, F-36, F-38. Hmm. F-36, F-35. Like that. F-34 is going to go on there like this, and then that's how that's going. Now, from what I can see now, F-35 is going to go into this lower hole here. The F38, this part here is going to go into here. The back side is going to go over this. So it says to first put this in here, then put the F38 down in here, and then the next thing is to put this F34 there, and then we come back and we put this on to hold all that together. Like that. Nope. This is the drive wheel. This is the one that's I should be turning, not that back one. That's that side. F29, F30, F31, 4 P5s, 2 P6s. Basically, we're doing what we just did, but for the other side. And we're going to, this piece needs to be waxed, so we're going to do that first. Okay, now we've got, we need to get our P6 started into one of our P5s, like that. That's going to come in from the back of the the F29, and the F30 will go on the top hole there, and then we're going to put a P5 on there. Like that. And there's that piece. Next, the other P6, we got to get started with a P5. That comes through that second hole down here from this other side. Then the F31 goes on there next with the printing out towards us, and then the P5 goes on there. There we go. Need F27, F28, F32, F33, F34, F35, F36, F37. So we're going to wax similar to what we did previously. We're going to use this as our guide. So we know we want to wax these ends so they slide smoothly. The same here, so we're going to wax these ends. We're going to wax this whole thing here. We might put a little wax on here. We're definitely going to wax this one and the back side of this one, but we'll just wax the whole, both sides of it. So let's go ahead and do the wax now. We're going to wax there. here. And these are just our friction points. It'll just run smoother if it's waxed. It may not be necessary, but we'll do it anyway. I'm gonna wax this side of this one and over here. Then we're gonna do this one. Now if we have to take this other side off that we've already done and wax that, we will, but I don't think it'll be necessary. Wax there we go. I think we've got enough pieces waxed now. So now we're going to turn it around so we can get to this side. Now on this side, we're going to put, it says we need to put this on first, and it goes on there like this with a part with the holes in it up towards the front. If you see in the back, we did the same thing on the other side. So this will go up here. Like that. Next goes on the F32 on here. Oh, I forgot the F28. The F28 has to go down through this hole here. And I'm going to give that a little sanding because it's got some of the little wood burr on it. So we're going to put that down through there. And then this is going to go on next. Remember, the front and the rear wheel turn freely. The center one does not turn as freely. Then goes on the F32. Okay, that'll hold that on there. Next, we're going to take this other piece that we created, and that's going to go into this hole here, I believe is the one that it goes into. Let's check the other side to make sure. Yep, that's the one. So it's going to go into this front hole here. So what we have to do is thread this through here, the upper hole, like that. Then this goes up through there. Like that. Okay. Next, we have the F38 which goes through the F37 like that. Make sure that one over there is this. Yep. The flat side actually goes towards the front of the train. So that means as we push this through, on this side, that piece needs to be on the right. Like that. Next, the is it the smaller piece? No, it's a larger piece. The larger piece goes there. Let's check the other side just to make sure. Nope, it's the smaller one. So the smaller piece goes here. The F35 goes on first. Make sure the print goes out. The F35 goes on first. Then the F34. Then this piece goes into here. This little nub that sticks out the back is going to go into here. Like that. And then this piece will go here. And then the F33 will go here. Like that. Now let's see if that's going to run. That's binding somehow. It'll probably run fine under power. We'll see. May need some adjustments. F39, F40, two F41s, D4, which used to be on the top of here, G1 and G2. So the F41s go on goes that way, and then that goes there, and this one goes in here. Like that, and this goes here. And then on the other side, we're going to have the same thing. That goes there, and that's going to go up there like that. And then this fits down in here and then slides back. Oh, that's not all the way up in there, is it? Get that back out. This needs to be pushed up in here a bit more. Now it should work. Let's see if that works better. Yep. Like that. This will go in here. And wow. I'm afraid I won't break that. Well, it does stretch it, and then it goes on the sides and then in their side hole, into these side holes here. It did do it. And then this goes in from the top into these two holes here. I guess that's a lid of some type. G3, G4, G5, G6, two G7s, two G8s, and a G9. So it looks like we're going to put this piece back on, and we're going to have, they have it positioned like this. So this is going to go on here like this. This goes towards the front of the train, like that. Like that. The G3 goes on this side. The G3 goes on the side nearer to us, and this design, we're going to put the little dot towards the bottom, like that. Then we're going to go and put the G4 on this side, again with the dot towards closer to the bottom than the top, bottom of the train. There we go. Next, the G5 and the G6 seem to fit together here. This goes on here, it appears. Then this assembly goes here. See the little mark there? This part's going to go on there like this. Like that. Next is one of the G7s is going to go in this back hole, and make sure your design faces out when you put that in. Next is one of the G8s. There is no design, but that's going to go in this hole like that. Oops, drop that in there. That's going to be a problem. Came out. Okay, so we're going to put that in there. And then it just kind of touches up against the G7 that we put in earlier. And the same thing goes on this side. So we'll put in the G7 in this hole, one towards the back. And then the G8 goes up towards this front hole. This one right here. It's kind of a little bugger to get in there. There we go. And then that sits down there like that. Now, the G9 is going to go in over here, and it looks like it's going to go in this lower hole because it won't fit in the upper one. There's two holes here. There's this one and then the upper one. I think it's going to fit in here like that. Here we need 2 G10s, 3 H2s. So they're going to go into the H10s like this. Put all of the one side in. These are not going in terribly. I mean, they're going in fairly easily. And put the, now it may be a little harder over here because we're trying to align 3 of them at the same time, but it's still not all that bad. So now this is going to go on the underside. There's these holes here, this one and this one, and we are going to put this into those holes. Seems like getting the part started is the hardest part. G11, G12, G13, G14, G15, G16, an H3, and an H4. So we need the G14 is going to go like this. The G13 is going to go into the G for that one. The G13 goes into there, the G14, like that. But first, we got to do our G12. The H4 goes here. And it seems like that goes about halfway through with roughly, oh, okay. And then here we're going to put the H3 into here. If we can. Then this G11 is going to go on top of all of that. Now when this sits down, you want this to be about equal on both sides. This front one, because it needs to be the smallest part. If you look at the thing, it tells you what it shouldn't look like and what it should look like. So this one, the H3 should not stick out at all on either side, and only the thinnest parts of H4 should stick out on each side. So now that piece goes into the G14 like this, with this on this side. Then the G15 fits on top of that. Making sure the G11 goes up into the G15 like that. Okay. And that looks like all for that one. Now this goes into the back of the train. It goes here and here. Like that. You want this opening up because it looks like something might slide down through there. Like that. Then the G16 goes into this here and this slot. It goes up like that. That was not hard to put up in there at all. So we need G17, two G18s, G19, G20, and G21. So G17 is held like this. G18 fits on there up until this line, like that. The second G18 fits on there. And then we're going to start the G19, which goes until it's up against that line. Once this side is on the line, stop pushing forward, and the little arrow or nub on it goes down. And then this fits into the back of the train. So it's going to fit in these two holes here, and then G17 is going to go through this hole here. So it's going to go like this. So let's get this one started first, and then we're going to get this one started as well. Turn it on its side so you can see. That one started. That one is started, and we're in over there. So then we'll push these in. Very good. Next, this piece and G20 is going to go in here like this. So what's going to happen here is G20 is going to slide down through this hole and this one. And then the other one is going to go, G21 is going to go into here. So we're going to slide that down through there, like that. And then G21 gets slid in there like that. Goes on there like that. And then it looks like we can wind it. I do have it turned off right now. Now we're going to see if it runs. We're going to flip the little switch on the inside. And it does run. The more it runs, the smoother it'll get. We'll lock it again. And we'll do it again. Let's try it again. And hold it up. Very cool.